Okay. Zog the Heilige Rebbe. I want to ask you, before we start, I'm sorry, Rebbe Shia, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to get this point strong across. I hope it's strong across. Okay. Let's go to...
I want to ask you a question.
Shalom Aleichem, my friend. How are you? Well, how are we doing with Torah Lamed Gimel? I have a Givaldig idea. Sit right here. Today he's going to say shit.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. They ask a question like this. The question is that why it was Bechlal the Rebbe need to tell me about Toy Vira? Let's chill and finish. Why do I need the whole idea Bechlal, Toy Vimai Ra? Let's why do there are a lot of people that don't think nothing and they have a wonderful life, like they taking painkillers. Clearly everything is good, make believe everything is good, and finally finished. So he asked me this question. I'm with you, by the way. So why you need to follow the idea, chizik, you might fly, I can't finish. Why do you need Bechlal?
Yeah, yesterday we were arguing.
Yeah, it was a big question.
Okay. So I'll tell you like this. I think that it's a loaded question. It's not an answer that we can answer with one simple sentence, and it's going to take us and divert us away from the thing. But I believe Neder, we're learning this Torah at least till Purim, and we're going to come back to this question because this question I see. So let me. I'm gonna answer. I think we're gonna touch it anyway. But we're not going to answer it. The answer, we don't know yet. I don't know yet. Maybe you do know. I don't know the answer yet. But let's go like this. So we said this many times. We're learning the Torah for a month. I don't know about you, but I'm struggling with the Torah tremendously. Siv Gimel, I cannot, other than the words, I cannot, there's certain nice things of connection that I see, but the way the Rebbe builds this Torah, and where the Rebbe seems to be going with this Torah is, the connection of Shalom and Ava, I don't understand. The Ava in itself, I don't understand. The Tivu and the Akul, why do we need the Tivu and the Akul and the Yemei Tov and Yemei Ra? I also don't understand. But let's try together to, I heard this from Y.Y. Jacobson said this story about the Baal Tanya, that the Batchen came to the Baal Tanya by some kind of simcha, and he said to him, and they paid him to do Batchanas. He drank, and he told the Baal Tanya, he says, what I know, you know. And what you don't know, I also don't know. So the difference between us is only what you know and I don't know. And klape, what we both don't know, it's nothing. So we have to understand that no matter what we dig into this Torah, we don't know anything. And there's no superiority. And the way that this works is the chavrusa. And this is, someone asked me, where, they challenged, someone called me up, he challenged me, he said, how do you double check if you're doing the right, if you're not kriyachim, in Lumdus, when you're learning in yeshivas and you're learning all the things, there's always a source of reference to say, the Ritva says like this, this one says like this. There's a source. Where's your source of reference to ask the questions that you're asking, to say the Mahalchim? I said, there is no source of reference. You know what the source of reference? The source of reference is us, between each other. And that's the reference. We are listening to the Rebbe talk to us. And if we believe that the Rebbe is talking to us, then the questions are questions and the answers are answers, even if that's not pshat. And we're not attempting to say pshat. Again, I just remind myself, I want to say that this is Lunish was Chaim ben Yitzchak, Malka was Chaim, and Yisrael, Tzvi Yosef ben Moshe Chanoi Chelech. Anyway, so the point is, with that platform, we will try to go into the Torah, and I'm struggling tremendously with Siv Gimel, and I want to, you brought up Ava, so let's start with Ava. And I think we should see inside, here, let's try to do a quick review. Sif Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, until we get to the Ava. Sif Aleph is talking about Levakei Shalom, B'midoisav, Ma'iraisav, U'ben Yisrael. That you always find Hashem. How do you find Hashem? Through two tools, the Torah and the Tzaddikim. And once you find Hashem, you'll come to love the Shalom in every single place. bein betivu, bein ba'okul, and you will also come to make shalom between Klal Yisrael, and there'll be le'oiv zeh. We're not asking any questions. That's Sif Aleph. Sif Beis. You have to know that Maloi Cholotz Gavoidoi, V'les Asa Ponaminei, Umemala Kolman, or Soiv Kolman. 4 things. I think we said this last time. I'm starting to see a connection to it, but why the Rebbe brings this. And a person should not excuse himself and say that when I'm dealing business with the Goyim and I'm using the Lashonis Ha'akum, or talking the Lashonis Ha'akum, that I can't find Hashem, I can't serve Hashem in this place, because Chazal were Megalad to us. Va'ata Machayas Kula. That you give life and existence to everything. That means that everything that exists in the world has life and sustenance from Hashem. Even Mireishis HaMachshava Ad Nekudas America Shal Olam HaGashmi. Again, we're not going to be Medayike, but there's Diyukim over here. From the highest level, Reishis HaMachshava is the Abba Shebadas, by the way, because that's Reishis HaMachshava, that's in the Das, and the Kudas America, Shaloylam HaGashmin, which is the Modar Klippas, is everybody's Krach Godel Shoroimi. Each person has an individual Krach Godel Shoroimi, and that's what the Rebbe explains to us, that's in Yom HaLachot. So if a person understands that Hashem is everywhere, except that it's concentrated and restrained and constricted into a tzimtzum, and levushim, layers and layers that distance us from seeing the godliness that is in everything. Therefore, I understand that once I know that knowledge, that I could search for Hashem everywhere. And that's why the Rebbe brings the Yishalmi. In Yom L'Chadam Hechen Alikecha, someone's going to tell you, where is God? Tell him Krach Gadol Shoroimi, because what is he saying? Hechen Alikecha. He's telling you that he's Moitzi Atzim and Aklal. Remember the word that we said? Moitzi Atzim and Aklal? David, you like this. It's a drush. But what's the klal? The Rebbe says he's moitzi atzmei min klal. He's moitzi as atzmei from the klal of haklal shetzorach levakesh shalom. So, and maybe we could also connect ein shom yish ba'olam klal, because Rav Nosson Likuta Halacha says on. I said this here. No, I didn't say this. Whatever. So we won't go into there's a bunch of these little drush chedushim over here that you could, the play on words. But the Rav Nosson in Tfilas Arvis, not in Tfilas, in Chanukah, the first words that he says is Ein Shem Yesh Ba'olam Klal. So again, Ein Shem Yesh Ba'olam Klal, that in the Klal of Levakesh Shalom there's never Yesh. And when the person's moitzi in it, that's what happens to us whenever we're in conflict, which is the opposite of Shalom, which is the Inyan of Machlekes. Whenever we're in conflict, we all fall into Yesh and we just give up. Whether it's conflict between our spouses, conflict between our children, conflict between our friends, or conflict within ourselves. Whatever the conflict is, most of us, at some point, we dodge the conflict. We go away even if we want to make peace, we go away from the place of conflict and we find the bridge of where we could tolerate each other. And even in the place that we don't tolerate each other, we dodge it, right, Chaim? We dodge that place. Whether it's now, the Rebbe is being megalas, that it's internally happening to us. So if you're mighty assessment a klal of searching for shalom, that's when you're saying there is no alikecha. That's the Esav. I didn't say this here. I remember saying, okay, that's the Esav that's within us, the Yaakov and the Esav that's within us. That Esav, the part, our krach gadol shoroimi, everybody has a krach gadol shoroimi. You have a krach gadol shoroimi? Do you know how big my krach? I bet you my krach gadol shoroimi is bigger than your krach. My krach gadol shoroimi. So everybody has, and this dialogue is not two people. It's also two people. This dialogue, how do you know this dialogue is, how do you know that this dialogue is not two people? What?
I'm saying maybe your roimi is bigger, my dodging is bigger than yours.
Yeah, okay. So the krach gadol shoroimi is the dialogue is really us between each other. What's the raya? So here's a Meneyu Bey. How do you go from Sif Aleph to Sif Beis? Everything has to be connected. So if the Rebbe is telling me, so what did the Rebbe start the Torah off with? Mi Ha'Ish HaChafetz Chayim. That's a dialogue. That's a question. Usually everybody thinks the answer when you read it. Tell them Mi Ha'Ish HaChafetz Chayim Oiv Yom L'Eres Tov. What's the answer? By the way, it's all in the Torah. And the Ba'akei Shalom Merod Veil. So really, the whole Torah really should be on Ba'akei Shalom Merod Veil. And usually the Rebbe says V'chulu, and he doesn't. Question. So first of all, you see that right away the whole Torah is based on a dialogue of a question and an answer. The Rebbe starts off the Torah and tells us that Levakei Shalom, what does it mean? Ben Yisrael, B'midoisav, u'b'mayroisav. That means everything, that's the platform to the Torah. everything that's going to be said in this Torah needs to fit in the Shalom b'midaisov, in the Shalom b'mayraisov, and the Shalom bein Yisrael. So the dialogue that's bein Yisrael, we understand him. Yoim lecha Adam. Who's the Adam? We're not talking about a guy. We're talking about a person from Klal Yisrael. So, but it's also b'mayraisov. The Tivu and the Aku are, hey, Yos, what's up? The Tivu. So, and here, okay, I'm gonna get lost in the review. I gotta finish the review. We'll get back to the Tivu. Anyway, so b'midaisov is also, the Rebbe is telling you, b'midaisov, that means my Tivu and my Aku, my good part of me, my Yaakov that's inside me, the one that connects to Hashem. Where does he connect to Hashem? So everybody has the place that he connects to Hashem, just like everybody has the Krach Gadol Sharoimi. The Krach, where's the place that you connect to Hashem? Oman, the Beis Medrash, a good Geshmak of davening, a Geshmak of learning, a Kumzitz, his Boydis. Those are the places where we connect to Hashem. And that's the Yaakov part. But in our Krach Gadol Sharoimi, we don't connect to Hashem. Not only we don't connect to Hashem, we separate it from Hashem. We say, you don't exist here. The Esav in us, the part in us, the Aku that's in us, is telling Yaakov, Heichon Alikecha. Over here, he's not. He's not over here. Where is God? Where is your God? He's not here. V'nidmeloi. And it seems to him that in B'mekaymai Ein Shom Elikus, there is no godliness. So what's the answer? The answer is Toimaloi. But you know where God is? God is in Krach Gadol Sharoimi. So what? I didn't know that.
Somebody actually does say, "Where is your God?" Right?
What?
So if somebody actually does say, what should you answer?
If someone else is asking, why are you telling me where's my God? You know where my God is? Wherever you are, wherever your makom is, wherever you are, that's where God is. Because God is everywhere. Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is true. What is that song? It's telling me that God is everywhere. Even in the place that's Tumah. Even in the Krach Gadol Sharoimi, which is Wall Street. The Rebbe talks about Masamat. But we understand it in Taiva. But it's everywhere. So that you have to. Wall Street was back in the days. So you have to answer yourself. You have to answer no, it's not back in the days. It's still here. That's the Aviyah Vayzatuma, by the way. The Aviyah Vayzatuma is because that's the place where you matter yourself and you say, even though there's no God here, but at least I have money. At least I'm doing something good here. Or I'm going to give tzedakah. I'm going to do this. At least I have money. So that's the biggest. By the way, according to the Rebbe, Taiva's moment is much bigger than Taiva's. It's much, much bigger Taiva. The world doesn't accept that. The world accepts Taiva's Niyaf as the biggest Taiva. Anyway, let's not go off on a tangent. Let's continue to think. So what are we saying? That we're saying that the Rebbeinu Shalom is everywhere. And the Rebbe says, by the way, this is the Nakuda that you gotta mamish understand deep. That you could come to Tshuva Shlema, the Rebbe says, from where? From Krach Gadol Sharoimi. Very different than we were conditioned even in Breslov, right? In Breslov, where were you? Oh, you run to the feld. You run to no, the Rebbe is telling you don't run anywhere. Recognize the godliness that's in Krach Gadol Sharoimi, and you're going to come to Tshuva Shlema. Then you're going to go up Madregas. You're going to go up. Ki lo rechaykei mimcha. What does it mean, lo rechaykei? I'm not in the mood of going to the feld. I am right now. Ich will sein a para adam. I want to be. I use a loshon nakiya, by the way. I want to be what I want to right now. Don't connect me to the thing. But if you made a bad choice, the Rebbe is telling you, but you're here. You're here to reveal. If you see in Sif Gimel, the Rebbe says that l'shoynes ha'akum. I'm sorry, is that Sif Gimel or Sif Daled? The Rebbe says that it's a Mardig Lashon that he brings the mashal. Where is this? The Rebbe says, okay, no. He says like this. Page Chaf. The mashal. The Rebbe brings a mashal. Why are you angry?
Because he got me pissed.
No, I could tell you. I know this guy's face. I see his face a lot. That the oisis HaTorah that are in the Lashonis HaAkum, that are all spread out. And nobody knew about the oisis HaTorah there. But when this person comes, Shehu doimel l'malach Hashem tzvaka, is that he's doimel l'malach Hashem. Why is he doimel l'malach Hashem tzvaka? Which we need to talk about, the kfiyas yetzer. What does it mean, kfiyas yitzroy? Hayna yemeira, azay hara, haynu l'shon es achkum nichfovim and esbatlen keneged azay nishon oisis atar baltim. The Rebbe is telling you something, very big thing here, that when you are challenged in your krach godel sharoimi, the Rebbe is bringing the mashal of Lishonis Akum, and the nimshal is every krach godel sharoimi. You have the chance and the opportunity to reveal Hashem that nobody ever revealed. There were other people in krach godel sharoimi that look. No, everybody's krach godel sharoimi b'midoisov. Again, you need to find shalom b'midoisov. Is a new krach godel sharoimi that never existed before. And in this krach gadol sharoimi is oisis atayra. So if even though I made a bad choice and I went to my type and I went into my krach gadol sharoimi, but I have an opportunity in my krach gadol sharoimi, if I'm going to now be koifas yitzrei in my place right here, not when I'm running to the field and running away here. I'm here and I'm going to hold myself back from taiva, whether it's, Mata always says, Ein cook Vinziger. Ein cook Vinziger. It was talking about, I'll tell you, the story was, we were in Breslov yeshiva, and whatever, me and another guy, we went to the window to see some, the bus would drop off right in front of yeshiva, and we knew at a certain time, we went to the window to go look at, the krach gadol sharoimi. Halavai, that should have been my krach gadol sharoimi forever. I would be good. But anyway, the point is that we went there to look, and we would chap. One of us, you know what chiki is? I don't know if you remember in yeshiva when the Rosh Yeshiva would come into the room. What?
Don't give them ideas.
Chiki, you had one guy watching. If anybody comes, one of us was by the window, and the other guy was watching that nobody should come catch us. Anyway, one day, Mata Frank, and those he was mamish the spitz in the yeshiva, he walks out and he saw us making movements, fast movements, and he comes over to us and he says, he chapped right away that we must be running to the window. One guy's to what? So he came back to us and he said, I just want to tell you that the Eibush tat tichlib, he was giving me the whole Breslov of his chazkes, and then he says, but you know what nachas ruach the Rebbeinu Shalom has? Mit ein cook Vinziger, with one time that you held yourself back. So we're all challenged with our krach gadol sharoimi. We're all challenged in the place of our krach, but we have also at the same time, even though we made the choice to be there, if we're there, the Rebbe is being megala us that you could connect to Hashem from your place. Don't run, think that you have to run to connect to Hashem. Where do I connect to Hashem? In the base medrash, in Oman. But when I'm in my taiva, do me a favor, Hashem. My father of Hashem used to say, he said this morning, my father of Hashem told me, during this man I would learn, and Ben Isman I came home, I didn't open a sefer. I mamish, and he would push me, I can't understand, everybody's in Lakewood Minyan, and you, this is my time. So he said, I don't understand, you made shalom with the Yetzer Hara? You told the Yetzer Hara, during this man, you give me, and Ben Isman I may give you. If he would only know that during this man, it was also not shalom with the Yetzer Hara. But it didn't make a difference. The point is that, so as I said this the other day, I had once, Frieds, when we argue, as you can tell, gets pretty intense. Ask my brother over here, he'll tell you. So I had once a big fight, Erev Hashanah, with my brother, Shemi, my other brother. And so he said, he gets up and he screams at me and he says, I just want to tell you, that's your problem. I don't want to say what the fight was, I remember everything. But he says, that's your problem in Avodas Hashem. He's zetzing me back, right? You always want to connect to the Nachman Fried that served Hashem in Breslov Yeshiva. So every time you get a hira tshuva, you're running to be that person. That's not what the Eibush wants. That's a mesek shamayim shamata. Reb David Ahmed, the Rebbe told it, we were learning Torah Vav at the time, and he says, Vatzia sha'oli neka, that he's telling you there's a Rebbeinu Shalom in your schmitz. He said it a little sharp. I don't want to say it since it's being recorded, but he said it sharper to me. The place of connection and the place of growth is not to run to Uman when I'm in krach gadol sharoimi and make a separation between krach gadol sharoimi and the likus. The place to connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom is when I'm in krach gadol sharoimi, and I can believe that in this place I could come to tshuva shleima. I could come to such a place of be'emes, a real tshuva, because it's not far from you. In your krach gadol sharoimi, and that's the place of growth. Because the Rebbe says afterwards that then when a person goes out of krach gadol sharoimi, as he elevates his madregas, he gets closer to Hashem and is nesmata alevushim. And then what happens? He can come to love himself with Hashem with more love. That needs a beer. Which we're not.
Give us a tidbit. No, what's my this?
I don't know what it means, but I will tell you if you want to. But I guess we're not going to go through the review and get to Avash Abadas. But I'll tell. So I'll tell you. There's three different lishonis here. If you look in Siv Beis, you say v'yochel es atzmai im Hashem yisbarach ba'avi yisera. Then in Ois Dalid. Oh, tazay. Hil b'shali. And then I don't know. We lost Chaim. Chaim, I need you to either zetz me back and come back with something, or okay. And then the last thing is the Rebbe says Shakadosh Baruch Hu oyev es atzmai im Yisrael. So what's going on there? Right. Which one is it? Which one is it? Is it Lev es Atzmai im Hashem Yisbarach ba'avi Yisera? Lev es Atzmai? Or Lev Oisai v'yavu Oisai? So I said, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to say that I know. But I will say perhaps it's Makusha with the Sif Aleph that the Rebbe says there's Shalom b'midoisav, Shalom b'mayroisav, and Shalom ben Yisrael. Maybe Shalom b'midoisav is to love my Aku. To love not my tivu, to love my aku, levis atzmai. That means understand that my aku and my tivu is b'Hashem halal dov b'Elikim halal dov. I have both. Maybe the second one of yovu oisay imay oilam agashmi is b'mayroisav. It's telling me that in every situation, there's yovu oisay imay. I am loving Hashem with Hashem. And maybe the last one,
hold on, Imai is referring to Hashem or himself?
No, Imai.
Yev Oisai.
V'yovu Oisai Imai.
Who's Oisai? Hashem.
Hashem. Imai. No, with Hashem.
Not with the.
No, with Hashem.
Oneself.
No, I don't know.
Love the relationship with Hashem.
Imai with Hashem.
No.
Imai is with Hashem.
Imai
is with Hashem. Yovu Oisai Imai Mizeh, and he's saying Mizeh Oilam Agashmi. What's it mean Oilam Agashmi? Moiroisav. From the Oilam Agashmi is from the events that happened to me. And then the last one, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu Oives Atzmai im Yisrael, because the only way to meet Shalom ben Yisrael is to be when I'm using Hashem's love, because I don't like you. What should I do? I can't stand you. Me, Mela. But also you could say perhaps maybe that the only way to, because I think we asked this here also. The beginning of the Torah, the Rebbe says Aklal shetzarich levakesh Shalom, and he starts off with Shalom ben Yisrael, then Shalom ben Midosav, Shalom ben Mayrosav. And at the end of Sifav, the Rebbe goes the opposite way. He's going fakir. So which, and the klal, I heard this from Tzich. I was listening to a shir the other day. I was driving back from Lakewood. By the way, Gevaldig, I suggest, and it's not the typical Tzich Cheshen shiur. It's understandable. You can get more than 2%. So it's recommended. What? On Kollel. And he has about 25 shiurim on Torah, maybe more. So I heard the first shir, and he said over there that a klal.
What kind of chesed are we talking about?
Oh, here we go. Okay. I knew we got Chaim's juices going. Not that chesed. No, it's not that chesed. It's worse. It's his father.
Well, I'm gonna have to close the camera soon, so stop. Stop while you're ahead.
But anyway, we love everybody.
That's right.
Betivu, Ba'aku.
I have to stop you on this. On this, I have to stop you.
That what?
It makes no sense. We have a Oysa Hashem Yisborach Imoi.
Right, so you're saying.
Okay, so maybe I learned it wrong.
I don't know. We don't know.
I don't know.
Who's
I
Imai?
learned V'yavu. I don't know. I'd love to see the English translation.
What does it mean?
I don't know if he says it.
V'yavu.
And Avatia skips it also, by the way.
I want to see the Siv Dalid. Siv Dalid. What's the English translation?
Ja, aber immer insofern gelernt, dass mein der Mensch.
I learned the same way
Learnt,
as
dass
this.
mein der Mensch.
V'yavu oisai v'yoyavu. You should love him.
Oisai.
Imoi. With him.
Love him with him?
Yes.
Or love him with
Love,
Imai, with
yes.
himself?
Yes, it's love him with him.
And because of the love with which he loved Israel, and he wanted them to attach themselves to him and to love him from this world. Oh, Imoy Mizeo Elam Magash.
What is it? What is he saying?
Imoy,
Yeah.
that you should love him.
What's the translation?
He wanted them to attach themselves to him and to love him from this corporal world.
Love him, but he's also skipping
He's
it.
skipping it.
They're all skipping the Imai. Matthias.
Guys, Imoy is me.
What? I understand Imai with him.
I'm with you.
Otherwise, it makes no sense. It
makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't. It's repetitive.
Why not?
It's repetitive.
The Eish that loves him. Here, how about here? HaKadosh Baruch Hu oyev esatzmai. I have a question. Yeah, if it makes no sense. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu oyev esatzmai. That makes you sense?
What in the world
No,
makes
the
sense?
No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Which part?
Oh, you're right. The next paragraph.
Nothing makes
HaKadosh
sense.
Baruch Hu oyev esatzmai im Yisrael. What does that mean?
Okay, so we love
It's an
him
expression of Lushon
with
HaKodesh.
us.
This is
Now he loves us back with him.
No, but also
Exactly.
loving the relationship.
But it's always love.
Nachman,
In
loving the
both
relationship.
ways, it's Hashem loving Himself. Both ways.
No, it's us loving.
Shakadosh Baruch Hu oyev es atzmai. What does that mean? Oyev es atzmai. What does it
The
mean?
same way we.
Not same way. Taich mean words. Don't same way.
He loves himself.
What's the taich?
He loves
Shakadosh. That's it. Finished.
But
So
why-
Imai could also mean
He loves
with
it
him.
when he's with Klal. So he loves the
I'm not, by
relationship
the way,
with Klal.
it could be your way. It could be
hear?
you could
Say
taich it both ways.
He loves the
Not
relationship.
It does. It makes
with us.
sense. The Rebbe
Go
is
ahead.
telling
Doesn't make
the
any
Rebbe is
sense.
telling you something. I don't know what he's telling, but he's telling because your peanut brain doesn't understand it.
No, because
Do
I went through
understand?
this morning 10
So
times.
my peanut brain doesn't either understand.
No,
it. I
because this
understand.
morning I went through this 10 times.
Oh,
It makes
so
no
now
sense.
you went through it 10 times? No, it can't be. It can't be because
No,
you
it
went.
makes no
I
sense.
learned Sif Gimel 30 times and I still don't understand. Okay, I understand what you're
Not
saying.
with all due respect.
Not respect. You're not disrespecting me. You're how could you say that the Rebbe doesn't make sense? I don't understand it. And it could be
but it
this
does
way.
make sense to me.
It could be this way. And it could be so. It doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me. Sif Gimel does make sense. To tell you that there's only Kedei Chiyusa. This makes sense.
This was CNN calls whataboutism, but we're not going to get into that. No, but I'm serious.
We don't understand, Chaim, and we're begging the Rebbe to now. It could be your way, and it could be this way. I don't know. You're asking me the way I learned. I'm not negating your way. Don't negate my way.
He needs you to agree with him.
But I'm
He
saying
needs you
it's
to agree with him.
repetitive. It makes no sense.
Anyway, so
There's
let's.
the Nachman noch Brüche. We can continue after tomorrow. We'll continue in a moment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk here.
There's a lot, by the way. This
Listen,
Torah
we got a
is
late
loaded.
start. We could continue a few minutes.
Because I got to love myself. Then I can love the Eish Mizeh Oil Magashmi. And it makes beautiful sense.
And why can't it be that I love Hashem with Hashem from Olam HaGash? Because you want to hear why. By the way, Yibati, should I tell you why I think Imai means with him? Because the whole vart here is to bring the Oisis HaTorah out. Bring the Ava that's living in the Oisis HaTorah. So when I am loving the Aku, when I'm loving the Yemei Ra, I'm going in to love Hashem with Hashem. It makes sense why, because Hashem is in the Oisis. The Ava is in the Oisis. So Imai can be in the Oisis.
Jetzt darf machen eine Brücke, wird sicher denken, machen eine Brücke. Shira Malis.